Disney has exited the metaverse. According to the Journal today, the company has eliminated its next-generation storytelling and consumer experience unit, which was responsible for developing metaverse strategies. The division had about 50 members, but the cuts are part of Disney's larger restructuring plan aimed at reducing headcount by about 7,000. And Iger's memo, Jim, yesterday said that there'll be more coming up this summer.
Yeah, I thought this was a big deal because Chapek's one of his big initiatives was the metaverse. David, if you recall, felt that this was maybe a solution for where they were going.
ESPN related as well.
Yes, ESPN, with the idea that maybe you could track players, you could get deeper into
could be right
fantasy.
In the middle of the action somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
It might have been. I mean, I don't think that Iger is necessarily opposed to the idea of it, but they're in a cost-cutting mode right now. And
Right.
if they don't see an opportunity for real revenue at some point in the not-too-distant future, it's not a part of their plan right now.
I think metaverse is very hard. I think Zuckerberg is saying metaverse is very hard. It's proving harder than people realize.
Yeah, why do you think that is, Jim?
Because I think, first of all, if you have to wear a headset, it's a loser. But second, you need, say, Unity software spending a lot of money to write them checks because you have to follow players individually. I also think that the term itself has become a turn off.
And why do you think it's been harder for Meta, the metaverse?
Well, because I think that they've gone about it in a way that surprises me. Let's take the way that Jensen Huang's gone over what he's done in NVIDIA. First, he lines up a lot of partners. And then he says, listen, what do you need? And we'll give you what you need. Meta is more like, we build it and they'll come, metaverse. That's just not as good a way to do business as the way Jensen's doing. I mean, Jensen sits down and says to Adobe, guys, what would really help? And then Adobe does this incredible thing. It's like, we would like to have a scene that's a summer scene and go to a winter scene. And I said, okay, Jensen does it. Jensen is partner-oriented. He is not a man, he doesn't do any missionary work. What he does is make it so that your product is better than you thought. The product that I see on in Meta is a product where I'm a cartoon figure. Right. And that's a loser. Right. Yeah, that's a loser.
The Journal's got this additional story about Meta, trimming some bonuses, offering more frequent reviews, incremental year of efficiency stuff.
Well, I mean, I think some of us who are from Wall Street read that and say, what the hell were you doing? I mean, like, hey, look, everybody stays. David, it's like a big party. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's not a partier. He's not.
The attitude over there has changed, I think. You could say almost dramatically.
I think it's more like
there's
what
no
Mark's
more
really
free
like.
lunch. Literally, probably no more free lunch.
Look, Mark Zuckerberg works
cutting out the cafeterias and every floor and the
Mazel tov to
gourmet
his
food.
Kid.
Yeah, and it's the year of efficiency and flatter organizational structure. A lot of different things going on there at Meta. Obviously, they were spending enormous amounts on the metaverse.
Yes.
Let's not forget the thousands of engineers they hired.
I mean, I think that when you see how much money they saved by eliminating people, they were overpaying people. I mean, obviously, there was a real issue out in the white-collar recession, which is that you did 6 interviews with them. You were bidding against Alphabet, maybe for the other bets division, which I know you love to mention because it's just so ludicrous. And what happens is that game's over. You can get all the engineers you want. They're a dime a dozen. Remember how hard they were getting? Just go to Caltech. There's probably a lot of resumes.
Wasn't that long ago that it was difficult to find engineers? I would assume it's still difficult to find the best engineers.
The best engineers.
Yes.
Well, I just think that what they're doing is doing what I call performance reviews.
Although these days you can have ChatGPT-4 write your simplest code for you if you want.
Why not?
Well, you're going to need some of those engineers to write this. We mentioned this Goldman note on AI yesterday. 300 million full-time jobs subject to some form of automation.
Now,
that's going to require some engineers.
Now, what was that meeting like at Goldman? I say 200. I say 400. Let's say 300.
Yeah, I don't know where they became the expert on this, but there are any number of different surveys going on right now that come down to the same conclusion, which is that ChatGPT and or other generative AI kind of platforms are going to replace an awful lot of jobs.
But I think they should.
Unless you're a motorcycle repairman, apparently, did you see that? Or a fry cook, or there's one other thing. You're fine.
But they're going to get rid of. They will eliminate the person who does the drive-through.
Yes.
Now, they don't say they're going to do that, and they say that they're like the person's touch. You don't know that it's not a person for heaven's sake. That's the whole point of it. You don't know.
It's going to replace a lot of accountants, apparently.
See, now, if Goldman had said we see 287,536,000 jobs limit, I'd go with it. But they use that kind of broad number. Doesn't have any
it's early days. It's early days. These are these huge productivity gains. Then you get to a point, and then, of course, human species no more.
Jensen said,
not sure where that is.
No, Jensen says ultimately it's going to produce more jobs because there's going to be more new things. It's not.
Maybe.
David, this produced a lot of jobs. Remember, you ever listen to Tim Cook and all the jobs?
Maybe Jensen's just a simulation or an alien himself. Who knows?
Actually, when I went to him, I said, "Is this a simulation?" On his speech, he said, "No, it was actually Jensen."
Oh, nice twist.
He might be. You know, people used to say Einstein was a alien. Maybe he is too.
Well, Einstein, like Mark Benioff Einstein?
I don't know. Einstein.
Yeah, like they're among us.
Albert.
And have been for
exactly.
years.
And your buddy Jensen is one of them, and he's basically planting the seeds for the end of the human species. So then his species can come and take us over. What do you think?
I think he's a humanitarian who's trying to combat waste, and everybody loves him except for you. But I patched up you and Benioff. I'll do it with you and Jensen.
You did.
That was not easy.
I'm sure it wasn't, and I appreciate it because Mark is a
welcome.
is a great man.